Good morning and welcome to East Coast Church, and to those that are on Facebook Live, we're happy to have you with us. The title of my short message today is Welcome Back, Welcome Home. I don't know about you, but like when Jerry and I go away on trips, especially in the summertime, we're gone for quite a few weeks. And when we come back to the East Coast, so often people will say, welcome back, welcome home, especially when we get down at the shore and we're unloading our car and we've been gone for 7 weeks. And if we go to a church in the Midwest, when we go to Minnesota, when we've gone to churches in Arkansas, they'll say, welcome back, welcome home. Well, I think all of us like to be welcome back at times. We go away, whether it's on a short vacation or if you've even missed seeing your family for a while, they're saying, welcome back most of the time. And if you've had a full-time job and you've taken off a week or two, most of the time the businesses miss you when you're gone. And when you come back, they'll say, we're glad you're back. Because in that circumstance, many times people don't want to be doing your job. That's why they're welcoming you back. But either way, people want you to come back. When people are missing from our church service, we miss you. We miss seeing your faces. We miss seeing you every week. We miss finding out what's going on in your life. So we want to welcome you back and have you here. Kids going back to school now, a lot of them missed last year's school. They missed their friends. They missed their teachers. And I know when they got back to school, the little ones especially were so excited to see the teacher. The teachers that welcomed back and gave them a hug and gave them a love. And that's part of what we need as humans. We need to be wanted and someone to care for us. And when you welcome somebody back or welcome them home, it makes them feel special. I was telling Jerry this morning, when we live at the hotel quite often these days, and we've gotten to know some of the staff. And there's one girl that I finally got her name. Instead of just saying, hi, I've gotten her name. So I finally said to her the other day, hi, Kelsey, how are you? The biggest smile. Right. When you personalize someone that you're happy to see them, they get excited about that. It's welcome back. And we got to get excited when people come. Whether it's new people, you can still say welcome home to them if they come to visit here, because you want this to be someone's home. You want people to come here. And we have the opportunity to say welcome back. And because of this weekend being 9/11, I think back to those families who lost loved ones. They never did get to say welcome back or welcome home to a mom, a dad, a grandfather, a grandmother, a child. They never get to say that word again. But I have to say that the ones that we lost in 9/11, the Lord welcomed them home up where he is. And so he was the one saying welcome home to his children. I want to share with you a story today in Luke 15, starting in verse 11. It's the one about the prodigal son. It says, then he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falls to me. So he divided them in his livelihood. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and journeyed to a far country, and there he wasted his possessions with his wasteful living. But when he had spent all of it, he arose a severe famine in that land, and he began to be in want. Then he went and joined himself to a citizen of the country, and he sent him into the fields to feed the swine. Now this boy, he came from a good family. He came from a family that loved him, but yet he went his own way. And in verse 16 it says, and he would gladly have filled his stomach with the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and I'll go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So he arose and he came to his father. But when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. His father was so excited to see him. He welcomed him back. He knew that his son had wasted the money. He knew his son had gone astray. But he still wanted to welcome his son back. He was so excited to see his son. And in verse 21, and the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put on a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. And bring the fatted calf here and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. The son knew he did not deserve this great welcoming. But his dad still wanted to give him this great welcoming. How many of us, including myself, we get so busy in life and we kind of walk away and leave our God, our Father, and we're doing our own thing. We're too busy for him to think about him all day long. We're too busy sometimes to do the devotions that we said we were going to do. We get too busy going to work, basically, and we're saying, oh, I got to get to work. I've got to do this. Oh, I don't have time for devotions today. I don't have time to pray today. I don't have time. It's always about the time. And we're all guilty. We, at one time, especially when I'm doing Bible studies for the women down south, I put in so much time in those Bible studies. I spend so much time with God. But I have to say, when the Bible study's over, I don't put in those 3 hours a day that I was putting in before. I'm not as close to the Lord in the summertime, and I hate to admit that, as I am during the other seasons. It's because I have chosen to do things in my other time instead of spending time with God, my Father, like I need to. God, my Father, is saying, come on, Kim, it's time to get back and spend more time with me. You took time off. Where are you? But you know what? Even though I took some time off and I'm not spending as much time with him, he still loves me unconditionally. He still loves me. He still cares for me. And there's times that we get so into our own life, we think that we can do our own life on our own, that we kind of push God to the back, our daddy to the back. And we keep going day to day, and we don't always take the time to ask him, what should we really be doing? But you know, our daddy God still loves us. And he's ready to welcome us back into his loving arms and his presence. All we have to do is say, I'm here. I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to take time with you, Daddy. But we don't always do that. He's a good daddy. He wants us to choose him. He wants us to choose to spend time with him. Yeah. He wants us to choose to hear his voice. And even when we hear his voice, he wants us to choose to be obedient. Because sometimes we don't do that. He gave us a choice. He lets us have choices, and we're the one that makes those choices. He is waiting for us to come back and spend time with him, to hear his voice. God chose us. In Ephesians 1:4-5, it says, just as in his love, he chose us in Christ. He actually selected us for himself as his own before the foundation of the world, so that we would be holy, that is consecrated, set apart for him, purpose-driven and blameless in his sight. In his love, he predestined and lovingly planned for us to be adopted by himself as his own, in accordance with the kind of intention and pleasure of his will. God chose us to be his children. He wants us to spend time with him as his children. He wants to give us that perfect life that he's chosen for us. But in order to do that, we have got to choose him. We have got to choose to spend time with him and to be his daddy. He wants to say to us, welcome back. Welcome back into my presence. Welcome back into hearing my voice. Welcome back into letting me plan your life. So I want to encourage you today, take that time, go back and spend the time that we haven't been spending. Get into his presence and let him say to you, welcome back, child. I love you unconditionally, and I am glad you are back to spending time and hearing from me. Have a great day, those that are on Facebook, and Jerry will be back soon.